The last letter. The sun had just begun to dip behind the jagged hills of Virginia when Private Henry Lawson sat down beside a smoldering campfire. The air was thick with the acrid smell of smoke and the distant sound of cannon fire. The Civil War had raged on for years, but Henry could feel the weight of its end approaching. He reached into his worn jacket and pulled out a small, tattered envelope. It was addressed to his mother, the last letter he had promised to write before he left for the front lines. The war had claimed so much, his comrades, his youth, his innocence, and now it threatened to take even his resolve. He unfolded the letter, carefully smoothing the creases with his fingers. His mind wandered back to the small farm in Kentucky, the peaceful days before the war, when he and his brother Samuel had worked the fields together, and his father had told them stories of the glory of battle. Henry hadn't believed in such glory when he enlisted. He had joined out of duty, not patriotism, and now, after so many years of bloodshed, he knew better. The letter began as many letters do, with a simple, "Dear Mother," and then spiraled into a confession he hadn't meant to make. He wrote about the horrors he had witnessed, the mangled bodies of fallen soldiers, the cries of men as they were torn apart by musket fire. He wrote about the bitter taste of defeat and the sorrow that had replaced any hope for victory. But the last paragraph was the one that mattered most. "I don't know what the future holds, Mother, but if I do not make it home, know that I fought for something bigger than myself. I fought because we were told to, and because we believed, in the beginning, that it could bring us all peace. But now, I'm not so sure. If anything, this war has shown me that there are no winners, only survivors." He sealed the letter and tucked it into his coat pocket. Somewhere in the distance the battle raged on, but Henry no longer heard the gunfire. He heard only the steady thump of his heart, beating as if to say goodbye. By morning, the battle would be over. But Henry wouldn't live to see the war's end. In a few days his mother would receive his letter, but it would be far too late. She would never know that he had fought not for glory, but for the hope of a world where no one ever had to pick up a rifle again. The war would end. But for Henry, the price of peace would be his last breath.